Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel, LifeSnapShot. Evelyn, Greg, Muttley here from Australia. Appreciate everyone dropping by, the comments, everything like that. Please consider subscribing, it really helps us out. But our motto here is, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Check out our other videos, it'll kind of explain it, but just in a nutshell quickly, we do day by day here, we do cost of living. I do some little bit of investment stuff, nothing special, anyone can do it. So that's why I try to get across that, hey, the things I do, there's no special trick to it. You can just, hey, give it a go yourself. I'm no professional, but check out our other videos. It'll explain a lot what we do here. So, but today I wanted to talk about, Evelyn was thinking about becoming an Australian citizen, and I want to talk about the Australian Citizenship test. Okay, and there's a practice test you can do, and I want to get into it. So before I go any further, look, remember this, we're in a country where we can agree to disagree, okay? You might disagree with what I've got to say. This is just my opinion, right? Everybody don't freak out, okay? 2025 in Australia, we've really lost our, sit down and talk mentality about these things. People are just so quick to get offended and stuff like that. We really need to go back to the old Australia where people just went, I disagree. Okay, let's get into it, okay? I want to bring up a couple of these questions, okay? 15. Question 15. The Governor-General represents A, our head of state, the King of Australia, B, a political party, or C, the current Prime Minister. Now, the obvious answer is A, our head of state, the King of Australia. And it's got a little bracket there. Our head of a state, comma, the King of Australia. Now, okay, that's true fact, all right? We have a king, all right? But no one ever calls him the King of Australia. He lives in Britain. It's King Charles. He is of British descent, okay? Australia has its history that's linked to, British, I get it. But we're talking 2025 here, right? For you to go around, walk around Australia and say, the King of Australia this, the King of Australia that. Yes, you're correct, but it's not a very cool thing to do. It's not a very in thing to do, and a lot of people would probably frown upon that, okay? So, yes, it's correct, but we're trying to get away from that. We're trying to make our own identity and individuality when it comes to Australia. We have our links and our history, sure, but the King of Australia, that's basically why we have a Governor-General, because the King of Australia doesn't make the laws, he doesn't do really anything except for just being the King of Britain, right? He's just the King of that, and that's it, and he just has links to Australia because of the history. But I just don't like the way it's correct, the Governor-General represents our head of state, comma, the King of Australia. But, mate, that's a very controversial and not welcomed conversation. And it's rarely said here, the King of Australia. I think I've said it more on this video than I've said in my whole life. So, just something that I've found a bit odd. Next question. Who can deliver a welcome to country? A, anyone who lives on the land. B, an Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, custodian of the land. Or C, a master of ceremonies at an event on the land. Now, the obvious question is A, an Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, custodian of the land. Okay, well then why does Qantas do it? Why do all these other people do it? Okay, when you fly in from a flight, international flight, the pilot, okay, I'm pretty sure some of those pilots are not Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders. So why do they get to do it, right? It just doesn't make sense. And if we really want to go deep down into the history of Australia, well, the original native of Australia was the pygmy. Okay, so why don't we find out what their tradition was when it come to this type of thing. And a welcome to country, I think, is kind of been modernized. It used to be a welcome to tribe, I believe, with the Aboriginal tribes of this country. I believe that it was a welcome to tribe where they would send out a smoke signal to welcome other tribes to their tribe, to trade, to talk business. Do you know what I mean? They had these types of smoking ceremonies and dances and stuff for all sorts of reasons. So kind of a bit of a, for me, not correct question. Who can deliver a welcome to country? If that's the case, that B is the answer, an Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander, custodian of the land. Well, a pygmy also should be included in that. And then why do we have, like, you know, organisations like Qantas welcoming you to the country when they're not Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander or pygmy? Just my opinion. This next question, it really's got two people that should be just making sure they understand the process when it comes to what the question is. Both new citizens who have been here for a couple of years and now they are eligible to vote, and also people who've been born here and they've turned 18 and now are at the age that they can vote. I recommend people talk to their parents or someone who's previously voted, especially someone who's voted a few times, in their 40s, even 50s, to just get an understanding of what you're about to go through, the process. It's question 11. In Australian elections, A, you are free and safe to vote for any candidate. B, you must tell the police who you voted for. C, you must write your name on your vote. Obviously the answer is A, you are free and safe to vote for any candidate. Now there's a big but here, okay? We have what is known as preferential voting. I think it's it. And what that basically means is you can vote for any candidate, right? It can be an independent, but sometimes the independents do deals with the two major parties. Okay, that means that you might be voting for an independent because you don't like the two major parties, be it Liberal or Labor, but you do not know if that candidate, being a independent, has made somewhat a deal that independent gives all their votes to one of the major parties. Now that can happen. It's a legal process. There's nothing we can do about it. A lot of people will bring up this point that it should be first past the post. Trust me, if the recent government had that type of situation, that's the way the voting goes in this country, they probably wouldn't have got in. They just scraped in by the skin of their teeth, and that's because of preferential voting. People don't realise that you're voting for an independent thinking that it's not going towards Liberal and Labor. You need to speak to that independent candidate, which then brings in the next problem. It's very difficult. You can't just ring these people. They're not just walking around for you to grab out of the crowd to talk to them about what they're actually doing when it comes to election day. This is where it tends to favour certain people that are going for the government of Australia, if I could put it that way. So yes, you are free and safe to vote for any candidate, but I would do my homework on actually what that candidate is tending to do with your vote, put it that way. Anyway, I just thought that was three things that I found kind of interesting regarding the Australian citizenship test. Anyway, I wish everybody well. If you're going to go for the Australian citizenship test, there it is. You can practice. And welcome to the country. There you go. I welcome you to the country. Did it offend anybody? I don't see why not. But yeah, all the best. Thanks for watching. And look out for the next one. Have a good day. Not what you know, it's who you know.